Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of the suffering servant passage. We're in Isaiah 49. We're going to look at verses 14 through 21 today. And we're in a section now where we are focused on the Messiah. And God, the Messiah has spoken. God has spoken to the Messiah. God has spoken to us about what it means to follow the Messiah and how through the Messiah he will bring us comfort. And in verse 14, after promising us comfort, declaring that comfort has been delivered and compassion has been given to us, God assures us of his everlasting love. Verse 14, but Zion said, Yahweh has forsaken me, and the Lord has forgotten me. Can a woman forget her nursing child and have no compassion on the son in her womb? Even these may forget, but I will not forget you. I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. Your builders hurry, your destroyers and devastators will depart from you. Lift up your eyes and look around. All of them gather together, they come to you. As I live, declares the Lord, you shall surely put on all of them as jewels and bind them on as a bride. For your waste and desolate places, your destroyed land, surely now you will be too cramped for the inhabitants, and those who swallowed you will be far away. The children of whom you were bereaved will yet say in your ears, the place is too cramped for me. Make room for me that I may live here. When then you will say in your heart, who has begotten these for me, since I have been bereaved of my children, and am barren and an exile and a wanderer? And who reared these? Behold, I was left alone. Where did these come from? I love this passage so much. I love this passage because God compares and contrasts himself with a nursing mother or a pregnant woman. Um, and God is male. He chooses to, God transcends gender. He chooses to describe himself most of the time. The personal pronoun he always uses is a masculine personal pronoun, and so we would be um, wrong to change that. But God is beyond gender. He has to be bigger than if he's bigger than the universe, then he's bigger than the categories that identify any human being or any living thing. And there are times in Scripture, and there are more of them than we recognize, choose to see. There are times in Scripture where God describes himself in terms of not a father, but in terms of a mother. Maybe it's a mother hen gathering her chicks, Matthew chapter 23. Or maybe it's a mother with a weaned child on his lap, Psalm 131. But there are those passages, and this is one of them. And he says, my maternal instincts towards you are stronger than an earthly mother's maternal instincts are. They may fail in their maternal instincts, but I don't. I will never forget you. I will always love you. Nothing is going to change that. I have inscribed your name on the palms of my hands. The most evident place you could put anything, where you see it, it's the most personal place to put anything, where it will always be before your face. That's where you are. And the people who have destroyed you, they're far off, and I'm going to bring you home, and the future glory is going to be greater, and the children that you were bereft of are going to be returned to you. Even in this, there really is a dual fulfillment. It took a while, but when they went back to Jerusalem, because of the prosperity they had during the Babylonian captivity, they were able to rebuild. It took them a while, but they did. They did rebuild the temple, and they rebuilt the walls, and they rebuilt the city of Jerusalem. And then the prosperity they're going to have during the Pax Romana is going to allow Herod to expand the temple, so that the temple of Jesus' day was a much bigger and grandiose space than the temple even in the time of Solomon. And their numbers are going to be continuing to grow. Jews will live all over the Roman Empire, and when they come back home to observe Passover, they will literally be coming from the four corners of the earth back to Jerusalem to worship God. And as people make money around the empire, Jews and they get to be old, they want to move back to Judah, to Jerusalem, to be as close to Jerusalem as they can, because they certainly want to be buried there, because they know the Messiah is going to come, and they want to be there in that physical geographic space when he does. And so there's a sense in which, in the first century, when Jesus comes on the scene, in a limited, in a temporary, in a historic, physical sense, God has already kept this promise. But this promise isn't just about Jews. He's already told us this. It's about all humanity. And Jesus is going to be the one to truly give us everything that God has promised in this passage. One more thing before we go. He's telling them ahead of time they're going to be bereft of their children. He's telling them ahead of time of some of the horrors they will experience when Nebuchadnezzar II and his army invades and destroys Jerusalem and carries them off. They're certainly going to feel like God has forsaken them in that moment. And he's going to say, there's no way. A mother carrying a child in her womb, a mother nursing a child newly born, does not have the love for their child that I have for you. Okay. We'll finish the chapter next time, pick up with verse 22. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.